In February, Russian President Vladimir Putin, with visiting Ukrainian leader Viktor Yushchenko at his side in the Kremlin, warned of what could happen if NATO missiles were to be deployed in Ukraine.
It is frightening not only to say, but even to think that such NATO deployment, which cannot be excluded in theory, would prompt Russia to aim its missiles at Ukraine. Can you imagine this, if only for a second?
U.S. Secretary of State Condoleezza Rice promptly condemned the remarks as unhelpful and reprehensible rhetoric.
We've also been very clear that we are absolutely devoted to the independence and sovereignty of Ukraine and of other states that were once a part of the Soviet Union. The Soviet Union had all of these parts, but that was another point in time. It is gone forever.
Independent Russian military analyst Alexander Konovalov says Russia does understand, and he characterizes Mr. Putin's threat as emotional excess. Nonetheless, Konovalov notes that Russia has important practical interests in Ukraine dating to Soviet times. These include Russia's SS-18 missile, which has an engine built in Ukraine's Yuzhmash rocket factory.
The Yuzhmash factory monitors SS-18 missiles, which remain in combat readiness. Ukrainians help extend their longevity. They have the documentation, the spare parts, the ability to assess problems, and the experience.
Konovalov says a long list of similar concerns include Ukrainian-built engines for many Russian helicopters and Navy ships. He adds Russia's Black Sea Fleet to the list. By mutual agreement, the fleet is to be stationed in Sevastopol on Ukraine's Crimean Peninsula through 2017.
As I understand NATO regulations, it is forbidden to accept members into the alliance that have foreign troops stationed on their territory, and either we will have to solve the fleet redeployment problem earlier, or Ukraine should not yet join NATO.
Konovalov notes that redeployment could cost billions and take several years. He says Ukrainians also have many economic and even family ties with Russians, which he says could suffer if Moscow tightened border controls in the event of Ukrainian NATO membership. Ukraine's leaders recently took steps to begin the process of full NATO membership, which will be considered during the NATO summit beginning April 2nd. President Putin says that in the final analysis, a Ukrainian decision to join the Western alliance is an internal affair of a sovereign country. And Alexander Konovalov cites public opinion polls that show Ukrainians themselves are sharply divided over the issue. Peter Fedinsky, VOA News, Moscow.